Welcome to The Growth Spurt, a weekly AI podcast by the Second Baptist Church of Ann Arbor. Today we're taking a deep dive into a really powerful piece of wisdom, actually. It's from a sermon by Dr. Stephen J. Daniels Sr., and it's called Mad and Missing It.
Yeah. Powerful title.
Isn't it? And this message is actually part of a bigger series Dr. Daniels did, exploring anger, how it affects us, and maybe surprisingly, how it can actually blind us, like completely blind us to blessings right there. We saw bits of this before in the series, like in Before I Let Go, that was about Moses hitting the rock instead of speaking to it.
Oh, right.
And then the aftermath, which looked at consequences, but also, God's redemption.
And that really sets up our mission for this deep dive, doesn't it? We want to pull out the core insights from Dr. Daniels' message here. Really focus on how anger, especially when it's like fueled by our own pride and these super rigid expectations we have, how that makes us miss breakthroughs that are literally right in front of us. It's about seeing that mad missing it state,
Well,
when you're so annoyed about the how that you miss the what.
exactly. And figuring out what we can actually do about it.
Right. Practical steps.
So to really get into this, Dr. Daniels uses this fantastic story from the Bible, the story of Naaman.
Ah, Naaman.
Yeah. He was a commander in the Syrian army, hugely successful guy. I mean, picture it. Wealth, power, connections. The sermon mentions like 750 pounds of silver.
Wow.
150 pounds of gold, 10 sets of clothing. That's like, what, $2 or $3 million today?
Easily. Huge wealth.
But he had leprosy, and back then, leprosy wasn't just a disease, it was devastating, isolating.
Oh, absolutely. You really got to understand what leprosy meant then. It wasn't just a skin thing. It meant total isolation.
Yeah.
Cut off from everyone. So it's kind of ironic, right? This super powerful commander leading armies, but he's got this condition that should make him an outcast. He was only tolerated because he was Syrian, not Hebrew.
Oh.
So he has all this power, all this wealth, but he's defined by this thing he can't fix. Imagine the desperation under the surface.
Yeah, that's a stark picture. So how does this powerful, desperate guy find any hope? Well, it comes from, the least expected person.
Isn't that often the way?
Totally. It's a young Israelite maid, a captive in his own house. She just quietly suggests, hey, maybe go see the prophet Elisha in Samaria.
Which already tells you something, right? How open are we to simple suggestions from unexpected places? But Naaman, being Naaman,
Yeah.
he doesn't go straight to the prophet.
No. Where does he go?
He goes to the king of Israel. He figures the king must be the one to heal him. And he brings all that money.
Right. The silver and gold.
Like he's going to buy a miracle. It just immediately shows his whole mindset, his assumptions about how this stuff works, divine healing.
Yeah.
The king actually freaks out, tears his clothes like, my God.
Right.
Elisha has to step in, send a message saying, yeah, there is a prophet here who can handle this. It's just misdirection from the start.
Totally. Okay, so Naaman eventually gets pointed in the right direction. He heads to Elisha's house. But how does he arrive?
Oh, he makes an entrance. Big time.
Yeah.
Horses, chariots. Dr. Daniels mentions it took like 4 horses per chariot. So imagine this huge, flashy convoy.
Wow. Not exactly subtle.
No, he's making a statement. Look who's here.
Yeah.
I'm important.
Yeah.
It's all about his status.
Okay, so he rolls up, big entourage, and Elisha.
Elisha doesn't even come to the door.
Seriously?
Yeah. Sends a messenger out instead with this really simple instruction. Go wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan River. Then your skin will be restored. You will be healed. That's it.
Wow. No fanfare, no big pronouncements.
Fun.
Yeah.
Just the prescription.
And Naaman's reaction? Predictable, maybe?
Immediate rage.
Yeah.
The text says he got angry and stalked away.
Stalked away. Why? Because it wasn't what he expected.
Exactly. He had this whole scene planned in his head. Elisha comes out, does some hand-waving thing over the leprosy, calls on God's name, a performance.
Right. Something fitting his status.
And instead, he gets told to go dip in the, frankly, kind of muddy Jordan River. He even starts complaining, like, aren't the rivers back home in Damascus, the Abana, and Far better than this?
He's critiquing the river.
He's critiquing the river. He's rejecting the cure because the packaging isn't right.
Which leads right into the core idea Dr. Daniels is getting at.
Precisely. Naaman was, and this is the quote, so mad regarding the presentation that he can't see his blessing is right there for the taking. He's furious about the process, the method. And because of that anger, he almost misses the prescription, the actual healing.
That's powerful. Being mad about the how makes you miss the what.
Exactly. And that brings us right to the first big lesson Dr. Daniels pulls out.
Which is?
Our pride can trigger our anger and leaves us mad and missing it. This kind of clouded anger, it often pops up when our ego is just excessive.
Naaman's ego seems pretty clear here. He literally says, I thought he would certainly come out to meet me.
Right. That's pure ego, that exaggerated sense of self-importance, thinking people have to treat you a certain way because of who you think you are.
Yeah. And Dr. Daniels makes it so relatable. Getting mad because your name wasn't announced right, or feeling slighted because someone didn't give you the respect you thought you deserved.
We've all been there, haven't we? Feeling like, hey, don't you know who I am? Even internally.
Totally.
And what's interesting is how God, or just life sometimes, acts as the ultimate ego reducer, as Dr. Daniels puts it. I mean, think about it. Naaman's got this horrible disease. He cannot fix himself.
Right. He's desperate.
But his main focus, the disrespect, the lack of ceremony, his bruised ego is literally more important in that moment than getting healed.
Wow. He's like a kid pouting because he didn't get his way, even though the prize is life-changing.
Pretty much. And how often do we do that? Get caught up in the weeds, the little slights, because our ego's bruised.
We miss the solution because it didn't come wrapped the way we wanted. We have the answer right there. Deliverance is available, but because it's not on our terms.
We get an attitude instead of showing gratitude.
Yeah. It's a tough mirror to look into.
It really is. And that ties directly into the second major point from the sermon.
Which builds on the ego thing.
Yeah. It's that clouded anger usually occurs when our expectations are extreme.
Okay, extreme expectations, like Naaman expecting the whole hand-waving, calling on God routine.
Exactly. He had a very specific, kind of theatrical expectation. Anything less was an insult.
And Dr. Daniels uses those great analogies.
They're so good because they're so real. Like praying hard for a car, then being mad it's a sedan, not the SUV you pictured.
Right. Or praying for a job, then complaining because it's night shifts.
Or, praying for a partner, then being disappointed they don't cook or aren't 6'2" making six figures, or whatever your specific list is.
Oof. Yeah. Do you see just a little of yourself in Naaman there? I think most of us probably do, if we're honest.
I think so. And the core message there is the solution is not the problem. Your expectations are.
Say that again?
The solution isn't the problem. Your expectations are the problem. It echoes stuff you see in wisdom traditions, like Isaiah saying God's ways aren't our ways.
Right.
Or Proverbs saying we make plans, but God directs the steps. Our only real expectation should be that God will provide a way, not how that way has to look.
Yeah. Trusting the outcome, not dictating the process.
Exactly. And Dr. Daniels brings it right down to earth. We often know what we need to do, right? Leave the bad job and the toxic relationship, tithe, eat healthier.
Cut back on the red meat, yeah.
Right. We know the solution, but we treat the solution like it's the problem because it doesn't fit our expectation of comfort or convenience. We like our burgers, so being told to cut back feels like the problem, not the path to better health.
So true. That resistance to the inconvenient solution.
So how do we get past that? How do we overcome this clouded anger?
The sermon offers a clear path forward, doesn't it?
It does. Beautifully simple, actually. We overcome it when our emphasis is on the end result.
Focus on the goal.
Right. Naaman needed healing, badly. But he was stuck complaining about dirty water instead of focusing on getting clean skin.
So it raises that crucial question, what's more important, appearances or deliverance? The process or the breakthrough?
That's the heart of it. And this is where those real friends come into Naaman's story. His officers.
Yeah. They step in when he's fuming.
And real friends, in this context, are the ones who aren't afraid to tell you the truth. They care more about your healing than your ego.
Yeah, they don't just tell you what you want to hear.
No way.
Yeah.
They ask the tough questions. Like they asked Naaman basically, look, if the prophet told you to do something really hard and impressive, you'd have done it right.
Good point.
So why are you getting mad about this simple thing? Just go wash and get cured. It's like you'd do something crazy if it sounded holy enough, but simple obedience makes you angry.
That simple wisdom cuts through all the pride. You gotta appreciate friends like that, the ones who tell you when you're tripping, even if it stings a little.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They love you enough to prioritize your breakthrough over your temporary comfort.
And so did it work? Did Naaman listen?
He did. That was the turning point.
Yeah.
He swallows his pride, goes down to the Jordan, dips 7 times, just like the messenger said. And his skin becomes like a little kid's. Healthy, perfect.
Wow. Just like that. Simple obedience.
Simple obedience led to complete healing. The simplest path was the most effective.
So Dr. Daniels' call to action from this is?
It's powerful. He says, Don't take all day to get to the river.
Don't let pride or expectations delay your blessing.
Exactly. And then he asked that killer question, how bad do I want it? How bad do you want happiness, peace, healing,
Yeah.
strong marriage, financial freedom, whatever it is for you?
Yeah. How bad do you really want the end result?
Because when you want it bad enough, truly bad enough, then the method God gives you, even if it's dipping in a muddy river, it won't make you mad.
Right.
Instead, you'll just be grateful. You'll give praise because you're focused on the destination, not complaining about the vehicle.
So the big takeaway, the final message here seems to be, what? Get out of the way.
Pretty much. Get out of the way and let God be God. Our power isn't in our demands or our ego. It's in asking, petitioning, not telling God how it has to be.
But being willing to walk in whatever he asks.
Yeah.
Obedience.
Yeah. Even if it's just washing in the river. Humility and openness to the path, whatever it looks like.
That's a challenging but freeing thought.
It really is. And maybe a final thought for you to chew on, something from the sermon's wrap-up.
Okay.
Maybe take a moment to thank God for every time you kind of kicked and screamed and patted your way to a blessing anyway. Acknowledge the patience and grace that got you there, even when you were resisting the process the whole time. It shows solutions can find us, even when we're being stubborn.
That's a great perspective. Gratitude even for our own resistance sometimes. Go in peace, be blessed, and may the joy of Jesus be yours. We'll see you next week.